This is your STEM Tweet newbie, and today we'll be diving into one of the unique aspects of STEM Twitter, which is the language used between stands, a whole sociolinguistic phenomenon happening in the internet, specifically on the social app Twitter. So before we open our minds to this concept, let's get to know what we'll be talking about today. What is STEM Twitter exactly? Stan Twitter became a thing when all the fans of all genres and interests used Twitter as a platform to interact with each other and to support their favorite artists or celebrities.
I don't know how to explain it. It's really interesting.
This is Lynn.
Hello, I'm Lynn, and I like have a Stan Twitter account.
She's a third year junior majoring in linguistics at the University of Texas at Austin, and she's been on Stan Twitter for roughly 5 years.
To me, it's like kind of like a diary because I like doing diaries, but I don't like I don't like writing a diary if it's like if no one will see it. I like talking to somebody. But
We also have Rin, an 18-year-old Malaysian who is currently studying in Perak and owns a Stan Twitter account.
My name is Ratina, but I go by Rin at my account on Twitter, which is the username is Renle BFF. I think like it's a Twitter, so like it's a platform where you make an account to express how you support the things you do. Like for example, if you like K-pop, then you make a Stan Twitter account, which like you go do stuff like fangirling on the account. Not just one year. Yeah, it can vary.
Fans or stans from all over the world gather on Twitter, all communicating with each other in English for the same purpose. Soon the Stan Twitter community developed their own lingo in order to communicate and express themselves better. Stan Twitter lingo has expanded the English language lexically. For example, the words relate and same are not synonyms. In fact, they have totally different meaning. And yet, it is often seen used by stans when they are able to relate themselves to a post, indicating that they mean the same thing.
when you're texting, there's no tones. Like when you're speaking in real life, you can like hear people, you can hear their emotions. In Twitter, most of the time we're texting. So we've like created this way of showing how we feel just based on like how we word things and how literally just how a sentence would look. I see like some people still keep to using regular capital letters like at the beginning of a sentence, and then a lot of other people use laps lock, which is when you don't have a capital letter at the beginning of sentences. It's a way to like I know a lot of people use it to sound like more soft, or sometimes they can use it to sound intimidating, especially like with full stops.
We've reached out to an expert regarding this matter in order to find out more. This is Dr. Zuhaida binti Muhammad Taha, currently a teacher at Sekolah Sri Putri.
Somehow, apart from using those emojis, the use of capital letters also show or reflect their emotions when conversing. Because of course we don't see each other's face, right? But through capital letters, you know that, okay, I'm angry, alright, or it shows some kind of emotion.
Like in terms of hyperboles, like people will say really dramatic things like I'm going to like kill myself, even though it literally has no intent of like any actual serious intent. It's just a way of like showing such a dramatic outburst for something so small. Right. It's like it's a own comedic joke in its own way. So when you're talking to someone face to face, there is a subtlety there that you can show in really small ways. You can show intimacy, you can show fondness in very small ways. But when you remove that face-to-face aspect, text can be not as intimate, not as emotional. So the what is it called? The stakes increase. Like I see people who met each other like 2 days ago saying "I love you" and like to each other, and I'm like, and it's like you wouldn't really say that in real life because it's like a bit of a jump. But that emotional aspect is removed in texting. You really make up for it by being just really dramatic and very expressive.
Are you familiar with keyboard smashes?
What is it? The what? Keyboard smashes.
Oh yeah. That one. Yes. I'm quite familiar with that. But at first, the first encounter was like, "Hey, what is this?" I thought it's typo, but okay. Actually, they're saying something. But they're just typing nonsense.
Oh yes, keyboard smashes. We kind of invented that.
How do you think people understand each keyboard smash since everything differs?
I think they only type that only after they're conversing for some time. That means they already know the context of their conversation.
I know a lot of people's keyboard smashing tends to differ. Like I tend to use H, D, J, K. Like those are my main. This is an S sometimes, but I tend to stay in like the middle row. But I know some people like go to the top row of the keyboard. Some people go to the bottom row of the keyboard. Um, but I know that there's also like in capitalization. So if a friend just tells a joke or like something like ridiculous is happening, using capital letters will just like convey that you're like laughing really loud. But when you use like lowercase capital letters, it can be like frustration, like what is it called? I know that some people like type out like a way of showing that they're like getting more and more frustrated. Like if I were to say like I can't believe this is happening to me. Like it's like showing that you from the progression at the beginning of the sentence, you're just getting more frustrated as like you end it with a keyboard smash. But it almost connects like the very last letter connects to the keyboard smash. Whereas if the very last letter didn't connect to the keyboard smash, you could just take that as its own. It could be a laughing thing, or it could be anything. It's just really depending on context.
Here's an example of a keyboard smash. I'm sure all of you will enjoy.
Just a lot to take in.
You just laughed
You
at
were
my
looking around
performance.
so hard so you couldn't look at me, which made me laugh. Yeah. It's funny. I don't think the shot works.
Okay. To me, there's a lot of differences because most of the time their language is very simplified. Okay, on social media it's very simplified. They use lots of short form, and then sometimes it's so colloquial. I would like to emphasize the fact that it's so colloquial.
I would say it's a really good way to think outside of the box in terms of language. Like, there's a whole phenomenon happening here, and not a lot of people are talking about internet linguistics. Like,
Yeah.
stories are being written in almost like a form of stories out there where stories just based on texting and posts on Twitter and stuff like this. Like, it's a way to, like, a whole new world of just conveying stories and ideas and thoughts just
Right.
by like a different way of writing on the internet. Well, first of all, I feel very strongly about this. It goes back to basically prescriptism versus descriptism. It's a linguistics argument in which some people prefer the like proper grammar, the proper English taught in school academic language that should be the proper way of speaking, versus most linguists tend to think that the way we speak is a proper way of speaking, because even with like as one would call not academic language that we use every day, so colloquial language still has a grammatical rule. It still has like syntax and structure. It's just not as rigid as prescriptivism. And like English has changed so much. Like I really want these people who think that language change is an abomination to go back to the 1300s and just really try to speak with the English locals there, because they will not understand a single word they're saying. The language has changed so much. Just the sounds have changed. Everything has changed, and language will continue to change. In like 1,000 years, English probably will not sound anything like it sounds right now.
Very insightful comments from Lynn. I think that the only way to not view statutory lingo as an abomination to the English language is to educate people about acceptance, and that as long as there are people who speak it, it is valid. That is all from us, users Stanford Newbie, signing out.